Hi, my name's Tony Ridley, and once again welcome back to another Crisis Leadership and Management Education tutorial. In this section we're talking about stakeholder analysis, engagement and communications, and this subset we're going to address the final component in terms of monitoring and surveillance, and certainly maintaining and preserving our initial assessments. So the reality is that circumstances change, relationships change, the inject of new information, various stimuluses, and even the ongoing relationship or potentially even the fatigue associated with a protracted crisis warrants continued surveillance and monitoring of those specific relationships. Even our own attempts, as I said, we need to monitor our own performance and accept a degree of fallibility that we may not and will not get everything right the first time round. So it's important to have a continuous process to ensure that we're on track and we're achieving our objectives. So for example, some of the key considerations for an ongoing monitoring process, whether it's done as part of the crisis management team or it's an allocated task or associated requirement for other supporting elements, but the emergence of new stakeholders. They could be an online, they could be a group, they could be an individual, they could be a regulatory board as a result of new circumstances, new situations, or over time. Has anything new come into the fray? Did the existing positions change? Once again, we're dealing with humans and they change their mind. There may be certain political agendas, there may be information they have that we don't, or information that they've responded to as a result of said communications. So we need to factor that in as well. What about the previous communications and materials that we had released to this point? It's simply not a case of fire and forget. Everything from press releases, news releases, to blogs, to articles, and everything should be quantified and qualified and monitored to see how effective and what degree of impact and influence it had. And as a result, this will determine are there any alternate priorities or measures and improved objectives that we need to introduce or implement as a result. So just to complete the circle, close the loop on this particular process, is that all of these elements and the effort and everything is for naught if we don't have a perpetual and continuous cycle of quality assurance and quality control like anything else. Just because it may be seen as esoteric or relationship or non-tangibles because it's relationships and stakeholders, we still need to apply the basic fundamental approaches of measure, performance, calibrate, review and adjust. So that concludes this segment, this entire process on stakeholder analysis. For any further questions or information, please look at the rest of the tutorials, and for more information and training and education on this subject and more, please visit the website at www.crisismanagement.tony-ridley.com. Thanks very much. That's all for now. Bye.